Yes, you do.
Okay, we're rolling.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I would like to call this regular meeting of the Inland Wetlands Commission special. Right, because it was rescheduled. Thank you. I would like to call this special meeting of the Inland Wetlands Commission to order. The time on May 12th at 7:07 p.m. I'll start with introductions, starting with the screen. Kevin, can you introduce yourself?
Kevin Seaman, Commissioner.
Nico?
Nicholas Jordan, Commissioner.
Actually, you're the vice.
Vice Chair.
Yes, vice chair. Danielle Monroe, chair.
Pat Bear for alternate.
On the screen.
Dave McCollum, Inland Wetlands Agent.
And in the room.
Amanda Martinez, recording secretary.
Wonderful. At this time, I would also like to seat Pat Parafort for Laura Ferguson. And Dave, before we proceed with business, are there any amendments to the agenda or any unlisted items that we need to add?
Thank you for asking, as always, Madam Chair, and I caught all the things I needed to catch from the last agenda on this one, so my answer is no.
Fabulous.
And furthermore, because it's a special meeting, you can't make amendments anyway.
Right. Thank you for that procedural note that I won't remember next time, and you'll remind me again.
All good.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then I think we should proceed with business, starting with our site plan review of 47 Star Lane.
Okay. This one may have gotten lost in the sauce, for lack of better words. I had sent out a draft resolution of approval for this earlier this afternoon. It's pretty its substance is comparable to the last draft resolution of approval I offered to the commission before their last regular meeting on the 28th. The only thing that would have changed are the dates that you guys rendered your decisions and the dates that you held your meetings on. I will bring them up on the screen so that way you guys can take a look. We're starting with 47 Star, right?
Correct. Yes.
Excellent.
David, I printed out the draft hard copies. I passed them out too.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
And Nico and Kevin, Dave sent you them through email, so if you want to review them yourselves, you should have that in your email inbox.
But in the instance that their devices are too small to multitask and have the screen to see everybody and the email with the draft at the same time, I've got a screen shared up for you. We can do the Star Wars scroll real quick.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep. I'm actually reading on my side too. We did get everything in email.
Okay. There's one change I already need to see. I need to make.
What did you catch, Dave?
Well, I'll go over with you at the end. It's two actually now.
We talked about some stuff at the last meeting. That's not here.
Okay. Does
Okay.
anybody have any questions?
I'm just finishing it up so far. No, but I didn't see anything to fix either, so I'm curious what you saw.
Nico, did you have some points that you wanted to raise before we, or as we discuss this?
No, I just was wondering if we needed official language in there. Thanks, by the way. If we need official language in there, just to preserve the specific trees, black gum trees to remain on the property. It was the one thing I recall.
So
Focusing on.
presenting, can you present what your thoughts are on that to those of us here on the commission?
Yeah, sure. Just that we should label mark the trees before the construction starts. And so basically just tag the trees designated to remain and have those be left alone from the construction process. And we can put one of the environmentally sensitive markers on the kind of where the line is, where the trench is to the stormwater management outlet system. It's around there. It's in that pocket wetland.
Nico, remind me, because I know you educated me a couple times ago, what is the benefit of these trees in regards to wetlands? There was something with them.
They are an indicator of kind of an advanced ecosystem, wetland ecosystem, a native plant species wetland ecosystem in our region.
Are they in the wetlands?
They're a long-lived tree that has reached historic standards and records in New England. They're the
Are they-
longest lived deciduous hardwood tree. Say again, Pat?
Nico, I'm sorry, are they in the wetlands?
Yeah, they're partially in the wetlands and there are a few in the upland review area just outside the flag wetlands. The grove is distinct and they're all connected. The trees they're all in a grove, basically, like within, 50 square feet of each other.
You
Say
can't take
what?
those trees, did he not?
Say again?
Did the engineer indicate he would preserve those trees?
He did.
Okay.
He did on our site walk and our special meeting site walk, and then I think again in a regular meeting, but I just didn't know what we need, if we need anything in writing or if just the record is enough.
Kevin, did you have thoughts on this? I'm sorry, Nico, were you finished?
Yep.
Kevin, you're muted. There you go.
Oh, figured, right? No, it's okay. I'm like, the question at hand is, it's as simple as that. I'm just in agreement with what Nico brought to the table about the deciduous trees that are living there. But outside of that, there's nothing that I see wrong with what's called with the document as written. I'm trying to like weed my way through and see if there's
Specifically about the trees, so that we can
Oh.
find at that point.
well, if you want specifically about the trees, I think it would be great to have some verbiage in there if we could. That would allow us to outline them to make the construction, the people doing the construction aware of their existence in the specific trees that they are. But outside of that, there's nothing I would add in. I can't even speak today. There's nothing that I would add in addition to what Nico has already stated.
Do you have thoughts that you wanted to add on the tree?
I don't, again, we're not a tree warden. If the tree's in the wetland, they can't cut it anyway. So
Fair.
usually I would oppose anything in the approval for it, but since Doug DeVesta did indicate he's fine with it, I'm okay if you want to put something in the approval to indicate which trees prior to construction. Normally I would say I would not, but Doug DeVesta was fine with it, so I already think it was, so I'm okay with that in this application.
And they seemed like they were fine with it too, so it doesn't even seem like it's a major ask. It's kind of just like, hey,
Here's a condition that staff will offer off the cuff that may speak to this effect, if I may read it aloud.
Please.
Before site work commences, the Nyssa sylvatica black gum trees identified by Vice Chairman Jordan during the commission's site walk on March 10th, 2025, shall be tagged to ensure their preservation and protection during site activities. The inland wetlands agent shall confirm these trees being tagged when inspecting for appropriate installation of erosion and sedimentation controls.
Hey, Dave, or Madam Chair, can you add that these trees shall be designated, these tagged trees shall be designated to remain?
Well, right.
Just because sometimes I've seen that, is that the language? Sometimes that's the language I see written on. I feel like I've seen that before just the word designated to remain, but I don't know if how much that matters or not. Have you not heard those key words?
No, that is good language. There's nothing, it wouldn't detract from the intent of the commission, of the condition if those were put in there.
Right. I just didn't know if it was necessary to put those key words in or not.
No, I like it. So let me reread the first sentence again with that addition. Before site work commences, the Nyssa sylvatica black gum trees identified by Vice Chairman Jordan during the commission's site walk on March 10th, 2025 shall be tagged designated to remain to ensure their preservation and protection during site activities.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Tag. Sure.
I dig it. I like it.
What do you guys think?
I'm
I
good
think
with
it's fine across.
I'm good with it. Sounds like a
Okay. Does the commission have any comments on any of the other conditions as they're drafted?
I did.
don't, but what did you find?
Me?
Yeah, did you say you
Yeah.
found something there?
Yeah. So the things I find, they're mostly housekeeping. It's the name of the document at the bottom of the first page. It's the name of the document elsewhere, either on the second or third page. Those were the two that stuck out to me, and there might have been a third. I can't remember it now because I got lost while I was trying to craft the language that we were using before. But those are inconsequential compared to what you guys are looking at.
if I'm in the town.
The language in the miscellaneous section all fine for me. Kevin, did you indicate you're good with everything that you see? Nico, are you good with this?
Yeah, I think so. As long as you guys are. Hello.
Pat, any?
I'm good.
I'm just reading which points were you just talking about, Dave, that you noticed something under erosion?
Yeah,
and
so
sedimentation
I
controls or construction?
Yeah, I will bring them up right now.
I'm looking at the email.
All right,
It
can everybody
looks
see
good.
my
Are you guys
screen?
feeling good? Yeah.
All right, so what I caught is here. This needs to get renamed because this isn't that application, right?
Correct.
Okay. And the next thing I caught was, oh geez.
Wait, say your numbers. Say where are you looking? Because I'm in the email now. I'm not looking on your screen.
Yeah, so this condition or this file name needs to be revised.
Oh.
This condition 9 was for a different application.
Oh.
So this needs to get struck and modified to replace and be replaced with what you guys had offered before.
9 being the prior to the issuance of the zoning permit, applicants will submit payments.
No.
Right. That was because that was a holdover from a previous application. That I'm just catching that now.
Gotcha. So that like isn't usually the case.
Right. That's correct.
Good eye, Dave.
Well, it would have been good if I had caught it when I actually wrote it.
They puts it in there on purpose so he looks smart afterwards.
No. No.
Kidding.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me credit. Oh, I appreciate it.
Well, you're making the rest of us look like slackers. I don't see anything else personally. I think that you're saying you're good.
I'm good.
It looks good.
Make one
If
more
you
call,
guys-
further discussion on this. Okay, Do I need to read the room or can we just go ahead and vote on whether we are going to vote to approve?
Someone will need to make a motion, Madam Chair.
Right. Okay, but we don't need to read the room. Okay, go ahead. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve this for
Go for it,
47
Kevin.
Star Lane?
Would you like me to make the motion? Okay, got it. Well, Pat's the motion man over here, so I'm just waiting for him. I'm not sitting next to him, so I can't bug him. But I would like to make a motion to approve the draft resolution of approval as proposed this evening for 47 Star Lane. What other information am I missing from that? Oh,
Right, Dave? Oh, you're muted, Dave. Based on,
That would be based on conditions 1 through 9
Yep.
as amended.
yeah, based
this
on
evening.
conditions 1 through 9 and
Reasons 1 through 3.
reasons 1 through 3. So it's
Or 1 through
conditions and
2,
then reasons
excuse
1
me.
through 3
Three.
as
Yeah.
proposed tonight.
Actually,
1
with
through 2.
the trees,
1 through 2.
Oh, there's only 2 conditions.
what did the tree fit in?
Oh, yes, we need the trees added, so that changes the
Is
numerical.
that 1 to 10 or?
No, because remember, we're
No.
striking the language for the original 9 and we're swapping it in with the new stuff.
Yep.
All right, there's a motion.
So it's 1 through 9 as amended by the commission this evening.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a second.
Yes, I'll just restate it. I would like to make a motion to approve the draft resolution of approval for 47 Star Lane based on conditions 1 through 9 as amended this evening and conditions 1 through 2. Is that correct?
Reasons 1 through 2.
Reasons 1 through 2.
You got it.
Do I hear
Is,
some-
is Pat seated for me?
No,
No.
he's seated for Laura.
No, you're seated.
So I
Okay.
said,
Okay, I have a second. I'll go ahead and call a vote. We can start with the screen.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Okay, moving right along.
Nice.
Motion passes. 47 Star Lane is approved.
Passes. Yes, thank you. We have 117 Chestnut Ridge Road for review.
So this one, the hang up for the commission for this application was they were looking for feedback from SLR International Corporation, the town's consulting engineer. They did give us review comments, which I did add in the Google Drive for this evening. They would have been held at you guys would have looked at them at the commission's last meeting, but we didn't have it. So I hope you had a chance to review those. There was nothing in substance that they had to offer in terms of the crossing for the driveway. And when staff questioned them on this, just to make sure we could reiterate their position from what was reviewed during the last application, the rationale was the watershed, for the area of Chestnut Brook that is upstream of this property is not changing. Okay, so if there was any greater area of groundwater or any other waters that would be going into this, that would cause such an increase to warrant a change in the watershed of that nature, then that would be something that they would revisit. And furthermore, the DOT, when it comes to changes of that nature, that they don't have any guidelines or review parameters that they have to weigh in for this. So our engineer was like, as much as the commission may think this is a concern, which it's good that they're looking at this stuff and considering this, it really isn't. So the feedback that you guys gave for the other comments from the discussion that you guys have with Dymar, those all were incorporated into their site plans. And we have, based on the comments from SLR and based on the response comments and revisions from DIMAR, we have a draft resolution of approval for you guys to look at this evening. The comments are pretty much comparable to what you guys would have reviewed for the last subdivision approval that you guys did 4 years ago. We can put that up on the screen, have you guys read through it, do the scroll all over again, and we'll see what you guys have for comments. Let me just bring that up for you right now so we can all look at this again. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, and I'll scroll through this very slowly. No.
Is this the same, Dave? Is this the same as what you emailed us for 117 Chestnut Ridge Road?
Correct, correct.
Dave, can you take a look at condition 7 or
Yes,
miscellaneous 7?
when we get there on the scroll, I will certainly do that.
Pursuant to commencement of construction. Are you going to read this, Danielle?
Dave, we're going to go over it
Okay.
when we get there on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now let's go to condition 7 because you wanted us to look at that language in there, Madam Chair.
Yes, please.
Okay. So I will just say for context, for some of the members of this board that weren't here or that weren't part of this commission in 2021, this was one of the conditions that was offered and put in as part of the resolution. If you guys want to modify this, or if you don't think it's necessary anymore for whatever reasons, you should discuss that this evening and make sure that you're all in agreement on what it says and why.
Can you clarify what's going on here? I'm not clear on what this is asking.
Right. So I will just read this aloud just for the benefit of the record. Pursuant to commencement of construction, a monitoring report from a blank. I'm assuming that's supposed to be a wetland scientist or a soil scientist, indicating the conditions of the wetlands crossing and all of its associated elements shall be submitted to the commission. Said report shall be submitted twice annually for a period of 5 years and shall be the responsibility of the respective property owner.
So if we choose to keep it, we need to finish that language out and say who is supposed to be taking the report.
That's correct.
And Dave, I don't believe that I was a member of the commission when this was reviewed the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So and if I was, that has been erased from my memory.
Okay.
Can you elaborate a little bit on what the commission, if you recall, what the commission's discussion around this was based on and what this condition was attempting to do?
I think it had to do, let me try to pull up the site plans if I can.
We haven't done a site walk on this, so I don't have a.
Yeah, you're right. We have not. And actually, while we're here, everybody that's in on this meeting was there for the March meeting, correct?
I can pull up an attendance report as it turns out.
Yes.
Okay, because
I remember
I would just,
discussing this location. I can't tell you if it was.
Yes, you all were here.
excellent. Thank you, Amanda.
You beat me.
Thanks, Amanda.
You're welcome.
All right, so I'm gonna try to do a compare and contrast here. If this will let me. Oh, it just might actually. Look at that.
Fancy dancy.
Yes, that's the one. Okay. Oh no, it's actually the same way.
That's your phone, sir.
One more. Perfect. Okay. And then to make sure I don't get them messed up. Got it. Okay. Thank you all for bearing with me.
No worries.
Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the previous application. That is the original subdivision application that this commission approved. I think the concern for the monitoring report was based on oh no, I don't have my bearings here. I think it was based on the proximity of this crossing. There's a if I'm recalling correctly, there is a kind of weir or some kind of spillway where there's a lot of water that would have been on the back side of this. And I think the commission was wanted to have something to ensure that what was going on with this crossing wasn't going to adversely impact that. I could be totally wrong with the context for that. It's been so long since we all looked at this, but just as a comparative, so this is where it used to be, the wetlands crossing, the new driveway. And this is where it's going now. So it used to be up here. Can you all see my cursor?
Yep.
It used to be up here, and now it's further north, downstream in this case. So it's a long. It's the principle for the crossing is the same, but the location is different.
Madam
And
Chair, can we chime in yet?
Yep.
Or can I?
Yep, of course.
Dave, or guys, do we know if this thing is built to
What's that?
last? The culvert are we mostly talking about the wetlands crossing here?
Yes, and no, and none of this work was done, Nico, because if it had, then they would be trying to salvage the crossing that they had already made. But no work was done to establish a new crossing.
All right. I'm not sure I'm totally following this project, but at least I think I am. Like there no work was done. Like they're talking about building a driveway wetlands crossing over Chestnut Ridge Brook and did you say that engineers were not concerned with our concerns at all? Like what was the upshot of that? What were their findings?
So the rationale for them not having a lot of comments with respect to your guys' concern for stormwater stormwater management system standards was the size of the watershed system, the size of the watershed upstream of this property is not changing because of this project.
The size of the watershed upstream of this project is not changing
Right.
because of the project. Of course it's not. What does that mean?
So let me.
They're responsible for their portion of the watershed, right?
Right.
Their flood flow, their potential for flood risk management.
I think the easier way to show this would be, I'm going to resort to using Bethel GIS here. That might capture this better.
Are they building this thing big enough? Are they building it strong enough and stout enough to last the 100-year storm? That's what's in our regulations, right?
That's not what's in your regulations per se. It's more of planning and zoning that carries the 100-year design.
For flood and stormwater management.
For stormwater management, yes.
Because we're talking about approving this thing. The language. What's the language in? It said, you know, it's all the stormwater management or floodwater mitigation, right?
Right. Let me go to.
We're approving this. We're going to sign off on this based on the fact that it. Can you see what's the wordage in the shoot? Sorry, I lost your email.
No, that's okay. The reasons that you guys would, if you guys were to approve this, your reasons would include the commission.
Will not have a significant. Yeah, you want to read it or me?
Yeah,
Number one.
I can read it. The
Okay.
commission finds that the construction developments and associated site improvements within regulated areas will not have a significant adverse impact to the critical flood storage capacity of the regulated wetlands areas, within and extending beyond the subject property.
All right.
That's part of reason one.
Yeah. And we're super concerned about that because we're saying we thought he was only going to build it a chintzy little, you know, small culvert that wouldn't carry his portion of the stormwater flood storage capacity. And the engineer's reason from Dymar was that, oh, it doesn't matter. It's a moot point because the streams up the I don't know what his point was. I don't think it was a valid point necessarily. But it was like something having to do with the floodwater areas up north of us,
Overflow the
or
bank
upriver.
before it reaches that position was the point that I believe he was making. It will overflow the banks long before it gets there, so it will
Right.
not.
Yeah.
So it will
Yeah,
not matter the time it gets. So is
But
that,
I don't think that's valid.
So if I may, let this map makes it a lot. This map makes it clearer. If I can get Bethel GIS to cooperate, which it's not doing. So if you were to remember the locations of where the driveway was before, the old driveway was going to wrap around onto one of these properties here and go up this way. But now they're proposing it to go further north and go here. This line here, this line type, if you didn't know what it was, you wouldn't think much of it, but this is meant to represent that there's a spillway in this area, if I'm recalling correctly. So the reason why that condition was in there was because the crossing was upstream of this. And the commission was concerned at the time that if there was going to be construction upstream of this, what is the effect on this spillway? But because this is going to be downstream of this now, this doesn't really enter the equation in the sense of, you know, the crossing is downstream of this, so it really wouldn't have an impact on what's going on here with the spillway at all. So if the commission still wants that condition in there for perhaps different reasons, you totally can still have that in there. You would just want to give it correct context for, you know, the relocation of the crossing would be the only advice that I would offer. But that's why that was in there. And again, if I could convey it more clearly, like the engineer did for SLR when I spoke with them, the watershed area for all of Chestnut Brook, which is almost going to, Reading, if you think about it. I don't know where the line goes, where
I
the
mean,
watershed extends to.
it's a potentially really big watershed.
It is, right, but the project area for what's going on with this subdivision is so comparatively small that it's not changing. It's not a significant change, either an increase or a decrease for the size of the watershed that is before the crossing on this property. That was the point that they have made to us.
And the town engineers weighed in on that as well, Dave, and said that was a fair point.
Yes.
Okay, that's all. Like, do we have any other sources for their technical review? Did I miss that? Is it in their review comments for the engineers?
If it was a comment that they felt needed to be raised, they would have done so in their report. But Dymar didn't have a response to that effect, and that was because SLR didn't raise one in their report, in their review comments.
So SLR has no issue with the size of the culvert or anything. They have nothing to say about it at all.
That's correct. That's correct.
What? That's so weird to me. Or are they just focused on other things with the project? Like,
No. They reviewed this application, with the same lens for stormwater and all other aspects as they would do for every other application.
Pat had something to say.
If I could recommend, we remove number 7 because I don't know what we're monitoring anymore. I think it's a useless expense for the applicant and the town. So I think with the moving of it, then we don't need 7. I agree with Nico. I'm still concerned over the size of that culvert, and that's why we sent it to our engineer, because they changed the size storm on the last application to this one, and they're still using old, if I remember correctly, still using old storm calculation. 25 years. That's why we sent it to engineering. They're the ones that paid out, so that's why we send it to them. So the applicant the application the way it is.
Kevin, can I ask you to mute your microphone, because I think we're getting feedback.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, that's much better.
Did you hear all that, Dave, or do I have to say it again?
I think I caught the gist of what you were saying.
Me as well. It was choppy, but I understood it. I thought it was just your microphone, so that's my apologies.
I said take out number 7. I'm fine with everything else in there because the engineer looked at it and he's fine with it.
Kevin, did you have comments?
No, I'm in agreement with that. I think that 7 is just a little bit of overkill. Based on the reviews that were already done, I don't really necessarily think it's a necessity. But if anybody wants to pose an argument to oppose that, I'll definitely be willing to hear you out. Don't get me wrong, but I'm with Pat, is what it comes down to. I share the same sentiment.
Nico, did you have further comments? You're muted.
yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, I mean, what's the point? So if they do that monitoring, that's post-construction, right?
Right.
So what, like, obviously it's a good idea. Like, if I'm the homeowner, yeah, I would want to be monitoring that system to make sure it works in different storm events and see how it works. Like,
I don't think that's what monitoring is pointing to. Am I correct, Dave? It doesn't have to do with the volume of water moving through the culvert.
Right.
what is it? What's that
It,
monitor?
the idea for the monitoring was because of the crossings location being upstream of the spillway. The idea was that if there was any issue with how this crossing was constructed, it's better to catch it or to have someone inspect those and provide the commission with reports, monitoring reports, just to verify that the crossing was constructed the right way. So that way, you know that it's not going to adversely affect the spillway, which was downstream. But since this is since the crossing itself is being relocated to be further downstream of the spillway, then the prompt for that condition may not be as prevalent anymore.
So if we wanted to keep it in, and Pat has suggested that he would like to take it out, and Kevin has agreed that he thinks it should be taken out at this point in the discussions. If we want to keep it in, Nico, then we need to have a rationale for why we're keeping it in, because the rationale that put it there in the first place no longer applies.
Okay, yeah, understood. No, I was just thinking like that. I just want to make sure they build it to the right, the right specs for the watershed to not make flooding worse. But
Right.
if they think that it doesn't matter because if the area floods,
You're putting two things together that are separate. Our commission was having detailed discussions about the fact that the culvert may not be of a size that could manage 100-year storm. That's a separate thing. That's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about the condition 7, which is an old condition that was in the original application, the original approval, to monitor the system's impact on a downstream.
Can I take a stab at trying to get two birds with one stone?
Please,
is
Dave.
that not valid anymore?
No, it is a very valid point, Nico. But I see where you guys are looking at the same. You guys are coming at the same comment from differing perspectives. I think the way to respond to that would be for this office to sign off on what's called a zoning compliance certificate. We have to have a letter of substantial completion from the project engineer that says everything was constructed to be substantially compliant with the site plans as this commission approved them. If for some reason there's a change to how that crossing is made, or the type of pipe that's used, or anything else to that effect, that applicant has to come back to you for another modification. It's very cut and dry. They're not just going to make any changes, and there's not going to be a process where that doesn't get caught either by myself or whoever does the inspections to say, oh no, there's nothing to see here. It's approved. The commission okayed it, and that's all there is to it. No, it's not that simple. There are a lot more checks to the process that would have to be seen through for the applicant to fully enjoy the use of this property and to get the okays and sign-offs to do so. I hope that answers your question.
Nico, does that speak to what you needed to hear?
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, if the engineers are okay with it, then that's pretty much, I guess, all I need to know.
I know
yes.
Todd would have raised a comment to us if there was an issue.
Right. Yeah. There was just one other thing I was thinking about, but it's kind of not to pull you guys too far afield or astray, is that like even if the thing fails, the stormwater culvert under the driveway, like he was saying it would flood the whole area anyway in a big storm. And so even if it was made bigger, like maybe, I mean, this is more of an engineering question, but maybe even if it was made bigger, maybe it would just carry the water faster and like increase the erosion and like, so maybe it's good even that it's like not full
Right.
size?
Yeah.
Because it slows the water down like a level spreader, you know, like when water like spreads out, we're learning like it slows and I don't know. But then it could affect their property, right? Like if it floods their property, is there anything there that would get damaged in front in that low area next to the road?
This section of Chestnut Brook is very channelized. It has very little space for it to meander or for it to carve a new path through the channel through which it runs its course. The section as soon as you proceed due east, or I guess due west from Chestnut Ridge Road onto the property, that gets pretty steep very quickly. So there's very little room for this water course to go anywhere except down. So there is a ways for that water would have to come up in any kind of rain event or flood event for that matter, for it to really have an impact. I mean, yeah, I could see where, there would be concern in any rain event that was greater than a 100-year storm. Yeah, you're going to want to know what's the status of that crossing. But this is where, you think back to the freak storms that we had last August, right? Where we had a 1 in 1,000 year storm come through, and there were very few culverts that could have been designed to withstand floodwaters of that stage, and remain intact. I get where you're coming from, but without the design standards being to that extent across the board, you really have to consider those as anomalies for what they are, and those really were anomaly storms, I will say.
We'll see.
I know.
All right, any further discussion on miscellaneous 7?
Does this commission want that condition to be struck?
I think Pat had put that on the table. Kevin had agreed. I would agree as well. Nico, would you like to weigh in?
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
All right. Does that have to be a motion, Dave?
No, but well, you guys would have that as part of your motion. But before we get there, are there any other conditions that you guys want to introduce or amend?
Nico, is there anything you wanted to add? Do you need a moment?
No, did you get that? Did you figure that condition in that we discussed before, Dave?
Right. So
was that a condition or no?
Well, that was condition 7, but this commission can strike it, so that way the final approval would only read to have 6.
But did you add anything about the trees, or do we have to add that in, or is it just on verbal record?
This is a
You're gonna write.
Are you talking?
Oh no,
Every
I'm
part of the
sorry.
motion.
We're on a different application now. We switched applications. Sorry. No, I'm good. Got it. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. No, it's okay.
My bad.
No worries.
Thank you.
Yep. Anything further on this one?
No,
you,
it
Nico?
looks good.
Okay, great. Kevin, anything that you see that you would like to add or remove or change? Aside from what's been discussed?
Nope. Sorry, I was just looking over it one more time to be safe.
You need a moment?
Nothing. No, nothing to add or take off. Nothing additional.
Pat?
I'm good.
Okay, Pat's good. I'm also good. So I would entertain a motion to pass this resolution of approval with 1 through 6, removing item 7 because of reasons 1 through 3.
Second.
No,
Moving.
Motion made.
Sounded like a motion to me.
Yeah. Okay. Kevin made the motion.
Second.
Did I state it correctly?
Yeah.
Good enough.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I'll fix it.
I appreciate it. Good enough. Okay, since we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call a vote. Nico?
Aye.
Aye.
Kevin, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Amanda, for keeping me honest. All right, that means that we can move along again. We are now moving into old business. Inland Wetlands Regulations Review and Discussion. Is this
Wait.
that you want to talk about at 2 in the morning, Nico?
Oh, no, I guess, we're good on
Hey, did
that.
anyone have any topics on that they wanted to bring to the table under that header tonight? Kevin? Nope.
No.
Pat says no, I say no. All right. Then. It's like we can move past old business. Dave?
Do you want to table that to the commission's next meeting?
Yes, I would love to table old business to our next meeting. Do we need a motion for that?
You should have one.
All right, I would entertain a motion to table old business, reviewing regulations, review and discuss to our next regular scheduled meeting, which will be on June 23rd, 2025.
No, our meeting.
This-
Yeah.
May 19th.
Because this was a special meeting.
Thank you, May 19th. You are correct. Thank you.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Nico. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call a vote. Nico?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Moving along to new business. Our regular meeting minutes from 3/24/25. I hope everyone had a chance to review those. Any discussion?
Make a motion to approve
Not for me.
minute meetings from 3/24 as written.
Thank you, Pat. I have a motion on the table. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Kevin. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call a vote. Nico?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right.
Wait, can I have a discussion on them real quick after the vote? They were very
Yeah.
good. They were just a comment. It was just a comment
Okay.
that I thought they were very detailed and like, well-written minutes. I'm not sure I'd ever, I thought they were pretty, well defined. Better than most, better than any I've
Very
seen.
easy. Very easy to read.
All
Thank you, Amanda.
kudos goes to Amanda, yes.
Make a motion to tell Amanda she's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you. All right, moving along, we have staff report hosted by our very own Dave McCollum.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna try to be brief on these so I can beat sunset for most of us anyway. We have no new news to report for 7 Rockwell Road. I do expect that I will have some kind of discussion with this with the Commission's Land Use Council, Chuck Andrus, tomorrow. And I will give you guys an update at your next meeting. The next 3 items, there's nothing formally that's been issued for any of these 3 properties yet. I'm trying to work with them and keep things informal at the moment. I do have photographs that I've added to the Google Drive. There will be more coming, and we can discuss how I'm proceeding with each of these at the commission's next meeting.
Did you want
For 4 Jennifer's, I'm sorry.
Do you want to give us a vague?
Yeah, for each of these, the bottom line is either I guess the simplest way to go about this is these are all single family dwellings, all properties in residential zones. But most of the activities that have taken place on each of these properties are just homeowners being blissfully unaware that they need to come to the land use office for approvals for activities within regulated areas. be it tree clearing or, having material stockpiled in areas where it shouldn't be, or having areas of property regraded in ways that it shouldn't be. For some of the properties, the homeowners may want to follow through with trying to continue to do their work. They've been advised to get permits or have soil scientists come out and take an inventory of what's actually on their properties. For others, they understand that where they've gone to and what they've done isn't something that they should continue. So they're trying to revert the property back to the way it should be as quickly as possible. So the results may be different for all three of these, but the understanding is there, or it ultimately will be. It's just taking a lot more time than I would be normally accustomed to, just for how much transition we've had going on here in the office, which I'm sure Amanda can also attest to. We've been through a lot. Not to get onto that too much. For 4 Jennifer's Way, this was a prompt from one of the commissioners, just for staff to monitor, the regrading activities that have gone out there as part of a wetlands permit that this commission previously issued. They do have to come to the land use department to get what's called a zoning compliance certificate. They have not scheduled that inspection yet, at least to my knowledge. They may have come in either today or sent something in late last Friday. I have not received that. And furthermore, when I do, I would have to go out there and schedule a site inspection to verify that what they said they were going to do on the site plans is actually what they did. And if they didn't, they have to either revert the conditions to match, or they have to come before the commission to get a modification of approval. I don't want to speak towards which way they'll have to go yet, just because I haven't been out there and I haven't read the report from the applicant's project engineer. So I would want to review those before I give you guys any feedback. But I just want you guys to know that it's on my radar, and that I'm gonna follow through with making sure they've done what they're supposed to do, just like I would for any other application where there were regulated activities. The last 4 items that we have, these are pretty straightforward. They're all aquatic pesticide permits. You'll see on here that one property is listed twice. That's just because they'll go out and apply their aquicides, if I'm using the right word, multiple times in a single season, just to make sure that their applications are working. It's better to consistently give smaller doses and not put the systems that they're treating in such a state of shock with trying to give the treatment in one dose, than have it be spread out over multiple applications, and also just gives them follow-up to see if what they're doing is actually working. So you may see more of those come in before the spring season winds down. If they do, I'll share them with you guys. The last thing that I would have to offer, and I'll try to be very general about it just because it's not on this commission's agenda, but there is going to be another application that you guys will, excuse me, that you guys will have on the docket to accept at your next meeting on May 19th. So I would ask that you make every ability to attend, even though it's only 7 days out, just so that we don't run into any logistics issues with getting that set up for June, because I will most likely not be there for this commission's June meeting unless you reschedule it, because that Monday that the commission has scheduled for the regular meeting, the 23rd, is the Monday before my fiance and I are getting married. So I would like to try to preserve that week for the two of us as best as possible.
Why don't we just bump it up or out a week? I don't care. If that's easier for you, Dave, I have no issue teetering around that. If that's it, it's easier to. I don't give a shit personally. Like that's a big deal. So if it makes your life easier to do that, let's do that.
I would appreciate that. Why did I bring that up again in my staff report for you guys next week? And so that way you guys can formally make a motion to reschedule it.
Please do.
Okay.
Yes. Please
Thanks,
do.
guys.
Put it on the agenda.
That's all I have for you guys.
All right, Dave, I have a question for you real quick.
Sure.
I noticed that public comment is not on the agenda. Is that because this is a special meeting?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Then I see that the last item on our agenda tonight is right here, and it says adjournment. Would anybody like to make a motion
I make a motion to adjourn
at
Second.
8:08.
on?
I don't know, 5/12/2025. You're so pushy.
I am. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any
Second.
discussion? All right, hearing none, I will call a vote. Nico,
Aye.
Kevin,
I.
Pat,
Aye.
aye. Motion carries.
Nico,
Thank
go to
you all.
sleep.
Thank you,
Good night,
guys.
Nico.